we can see that they are chains of activities, events and decisions that are being performed. Events that trigger an activity such as the receipt of a purchase order, and activities like confirm purchase order or accept purchase order change. And decisions that have to be taken, for example, assess an invoice, and in case there are mismatches, then the invoice needs to be blocked, or if there aren't mismatches, then the invoice can be approved. So these chains of events, activities and decisions involve a number of actors. They are both human actors, so the process participants, the human resources that participate in the execution of the process by actively performing the activities, such as a financial officer that matches an incoming payment with an invoice, or a warehouse worker that unloads the truck, or a sales representative that gets in touch with a retailer with regard to a particular purchase order. And clearly involve business objects such as the purchase order itself, which could be an electronic purchase order or an electronic invoice, or physical objects such as the goods, the products. They are triggered by an event that represents a need, such as the customer arriving, representing the need for eating, right? For being entertained in a restaurant, or a purchase order that is received representing the need of a retailer to receive some goods. And these chains of events, activities and decisions lead to an outcome that is meant to be of value to a customer. So for example, the outcome for a retailer would be to obtain the goods. The outcome for a customer in a restaurant would be to eat well. So there are a number of business processes that are typically occurring in organizations. One of those is the order-to-cash process, also known as order fulfillment. And we have seen that in the context of the wholesaler. It's the process that involves the wholesaler and the retailer. The wholesaler receives a purchase order from the retailer, and this process completes once the wholesaler has shipped the goods to the retailer, meaning that the order has been fulfilled, so cash has been generated. So the dual of this business process is the procure-to-pay, also known as the purchase-to-pay business process. And again, we've seen this in the context of the wholesaler interacting with a supplier. It starts from the time a purchase order is issued and completes once the goods have been received. So the procure-to-pay process is a process that is performed in organizations in order to acquire resources like goods in stock for the wholesaler to be able to operate properly. Another example of a process that is very common is the application to approval process. This is typical in government agencies, but also in some private organizations. For example, this starts from the receipt of an application, like a loan application, and then it ends with the approval or rejection of the application. Another example to conclude is a fault to resolution process. It starts with the identification of a fault, and then it completes once that fault has been resolved.